Star Map Tattoo. Sara Okonkwo had stopped explaining the birthmark by the time she turned 12. It sprawled across her left shoulder blade, a constellation of dark spots and lines that looked deliberate, purposeful, as if someone had tattooed a map onto her skin while she slept in the room. Dermatologists called it a complex nevus pattern. Her mother called it a blessing from her Igbo ancestors. Kids at school called it weird, which was the worst thing you could be in 6th grade. By 28, Sara had made peace with it. The mark was simply part of her landscape, like the scar on her knee from learning to ride a bike, or the way her left eye had a small green fleck in the brown. She worked as a data analyst for a marketing firm in Chicago, lived alone with a cat named Schrodinger, and hadn't thought deeply about her birthmark in years. Then the sky opened. It happened on a Thursday evening in late September. Sara was walking home from the Red Line, earbuds in, listening to a podcast about mysterious disappearances. The street smelled like rain and roasting coffee. Ordinary. Safe. The first ship materialized directly above the Willis Tower. Not descended, materialized, as if reality had simply decided there should be a massive obsidian structure hovering over downtown Chicago. No sound, no light show, just sudden presence where absence had been a moment before. Car alarms erupted in harmony. Someone screamed. Sara's phone buzzed with emergency alerts, but she couldn't look away from the ship. It was angular, asymmetric, covered in what looked like script or circuitry or something between the two. Beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Then came the others. Ships appeared above every major city on Earth. 37 in total, all identical. The synchronized emergence suggested coordination that made Sara's analyst brain spin. This wasn't random. This was planned. Her shoulder began to burn. The pain was intense, but strangely focused, like someone pressing a heated coin against her birthmark. Sara stumbled into a coffee shop, found the bathroom, locked the door with shaking hands. She twisted to see her reflection, pulling her shirt aside. The birthmark was glowing. Soft blue light emanated from each spot and line, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. As she watched, new lines began appearing, spreading outward from the original pattern, creating connections, building structure. Sara touched the glowing skin. It felt normal temperature despite the burning sensation. No heat, just light and pain. Her phone exploded with notifications. Everyone she knew was calling, texting, checking if she was safe. The ships had broadcast a message simultaneously in every human language. We seek the Cartographers, surrender them peacefully, and Earth will be spared examination. Sara stared at her glowing shoulder in the fluorescent bathroom light. Somehow, she already knew the truth. They came for her at 2 a.m. Not the aliens, the military. Sara woke to pounding on her apartment door, followed by the efficient sound of locks being bypassed. 6 soldiers in tactical gear swept through her tiny one-bedroom like they were clearing a hostile building. Sara Okonkwo. The lead soldier was a woman with a West Point bearing and eyes that had seen things she'd never discuss. You need to come with us. I haven't done anything. We know. You're not under arrest. You're being collected. Collected? The soldier's expression softened microscopically. You're not the only one. Globally, we've identified 347 individuals whose birthmarks began exhibiting luminescence after the ships arrived. You're all being brought to a secure location. Sara thought about running, but 6 assault rifles discouraged creativity. She grabbed her phone, her cat, and followed them into a black helicopter that waited on the street, rotors already spinning. Chicago fell away beneath her, the alien ship hanging over the city like a dark star.
The facility existed in a place maps didn't acknowledge, somewhere in the Nevada desert, underground, vast enough to swallow aircraft carriers. Sara was processed through security, given medical examinations, and finally led into a massive circular chamber where hundreds of people stood in confused clusters. They all had glowing birthmarks. Every conceivable location, shoulders, backs, arms, faces, legs, every ethnicity, age range, background. A teenage girl from Seoul, an elderly man from Cairo, a pregnant woman from Sao Paulo. All marked, all glowing, all terrified and baffled in equal measure. A voice echoed through the chamber. "Please remain calm. You are not in danger. You are guests of the Global Defense Initiative, under the authority of the United Nations Security Council. We are trying to understand your condition." Sara found herself gravitating toward a young man whose entire back seemed to glow beneath his shirt. He looked Indian, maybe late 20s, with intelligent eyes that were scanning the room analytically. "This is insane," he muttered. "You're glowing too?" "Since the ships arrived." "You?" "Same. I'm Sara." "Raj." He extended his hand, then laughed darkly at the normalcy of the gesture. "What do you think they want with us?" Before Sara could answer, the lights dimmed. Massive screens descended from the ceiling, displaying the same image simultaneously. An alien standing in what appeared to be a ship's command center. The being was tall, easily 7 feet, with skin that looked like polished stone, gray and black patterns swirling across its surface. It had 4 arms, each ending in hands with too many fingers, and a face that was almost human except for the eyes, solid gold, no pupils, reflecting light like mirrors. When it spoke, the words bypassed ears entirely, resonating directly in Sara's skull. "Greetings, cartographers. We are the Extharthal Collective. We have waited 8,000 years for this reunion." The explanation came in fragments, delivered by aliens who clearly struggled to make human minds comprehend concepts that existed outside conventional physics. 8 millennia ago, the Extharthal Collective had possessed the most dangerous weapon ever created, the convergence engine. It could rewrite reality itself, reshape planets, move stars, collapse or expand dimensions. In the wrong hands, it represented extinction-level power. A war had erupted, those who wanted to destroy the engine versus those who wanted to use it. The conflict nearly tore the galaxy apart before a compromise was reached. The Extharthal would hide the engine somewhere no one could find it. They would create a map to its location, but fragment that map into 1,000 pieces. Each piece would be encoded into the genetic structure of organisms across different planets, different species, different evolutionary timelines. "You are humanity's pieces," the alien explained. "When your species evolved to sufficient complexity, the map fragments activated and manifested as what you call birthmarks. Each of you carries coordinates to different sections of the engine's location." Sara's mind reeled. "You embedded alien technology into human DNA?" "Not technology. Information. Quantum encrypted data that would remain dormant until the precise moment when cosmic alignment allowed dimensional barriers to thin sufficiently for retrieval." "Why now?" Raj demanded. "Why after 8,000 years?" The alien's golden eyes dimmed slightly, an expression Sara interpreted as sadness. "Because the other side found us. The Krovan Empire has spent millennia searching for cartographers. They want the engine, and they will slaughter entire worlds to obtain it." On the screens, new images appeared. Massive warships, different design than the Extharthal vessels, angular and aggressive, bristling with weapons. There were hundreds of them, holding position just beyond Earth's moon. "They know you are here," the alien continued. "They will attack in 72 hours unless we surrender all cartographers to them. They will extract your genetic data and reconstruct the map through vivisection." The chamber erupted in panic. People screamed, cried, demanded answers. Sara stood frozen, her glowing shoulder suddenly feeling like a target painted on her back. "What happens if you get the map?" someone shouted. "What do you do with this weapon?" "We will destroy it," the alien said simply, "as we should have done 8,000 years ago. Power of this magnitude should not exist." "And we're supposed to trust you?" The alien's forearm spread in a gesture that might have been a shrug. "You have 72 hours to decide whom to trust. Choose wisely. The universe depends on it." The screens went dark.
The facility transformed into organized chaos. Scientists swarmed the cartographers, scanning birthmarks, taking tissue samples, building three-dimensional models of the pattern each person carried. Slowly, like a puzzle assembling itself, a picture emerged. The birthmarks, when combined, created a three-dimensional star map of staggering complexity. Not just locations, but temporal coordinates, quantum states, dimensional frequencies. The engine wasn't hidden in space, it was hidden between spaces, in a pocket dimension that required exact specifications to access. Sara spent hours being scanned, her shoulder mapped down to the cellular level. Between sessions, she talked with other cartographers, learning their stories. The pregnant woman from Sao Paulo was an architect. The elderly man from Cairo was a retired teacher. The sole teenager was a competitive gamer. Nothing connected them except the marks. Roz found her in the facility's makeshift cafeteria, both of them too anxious to eat. "I've been thinking," he said. "This whole situation assumes we believe either side. What if they're both lying?" "About what?" "About what the engine actually does. Maybe it's not a weapon. Maybe it's something else entirely, and both sides want it for reasons they're not sharing." Sara considered this. Her analyst training kicked in. Always question the data, always look for what's not being said. How would we find out? We'd need to see the engine ourselves. That's impossible. We'd need the complete map, access to their technology, and the cartographers themselves. Raj leaned forward. "Sara, what if we don't give the map to either side? What if we use it ourselves?" It was insane. It was also the first idea that felt right. Organizing a rebellion among 347 people from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds should have been impossible. But fear is a powerful motivator, and trust in alien agendas was in short supply. They found allies among the military guards, soldiers who'd signed up to defend Earth, not hand over civilians to be dissected. They found scientists who believed in human agency over alien dictates. And they found each other, cartographers united by glowing skin and a refusal to be pawns. The plan was desperate. Steal a ship, use the combined map to find the engine, see it for themselves, and make an informed decision about its fate. 48 hours after the aliens' ultimatum, they made their move. The Zarthal had provided several smaller transport vessels to move cartographers between secure locations. Sara's group, 32 volunteers, including her and Raj,
overpowered their guards during a routine transfer, seized control of a ship, and launched before anyone could stop them. The ship's systems were alien but intuitive, responding to touch and thought in ways that suggested biological integration. Raj, who'd been a software engineer before becoming a galactic map fragment, figured out basic navigation while Sara coordinated the cartographers, having them focus on their glowing marks simultaneously. The ship's navigation system came alive, pulling data directly from their collective birthmarks, assembling coordinates that pointed to a location that shouldn't exist. A fold in space-time, invisible to normal sensors, accessible only through precise dimensional harmonics. They jumped. Reality twisted. For a moment that lasted eternally and no time at all, Sara existed in every possible state simultaneously. Then they emerged into the pocket dimension, and before them floated the convergence engine. It was breathtaking. Not a weapon, as they'd been told, not a machine as she'd imagined. The engine was a structure of pure crystallized possibility, a massive lattice of frozen quantum states that seemed to contain entire universes within its facets. Looking at it, Sara saw her life's every branching path, every choice she'd made and not made, every version of herself that could have been. "My God," Raj whispered, "it's not a weapon, it's a creation engine." Sara understood instantly. This wasn't designed to destroy, it was designed to build, to reshape reality not through force, but through possibility. With this, you could cure diseases, end scarcity, terraform barren worlds, give every species in the galaxy unlimited potential. Or you could unmake everything. The ship's communication system crackled. Both alien fleets had tracked them, were converging on their position. They had minutes, maybe less. "We have to decide," Raj said. "Destroy it? Give it to someone? Use it ourselves?" Sara approached the engine, her birthmark blazing so bright it hurt. Up close, she could see information flowing through the crystal lattice. Not data, but pure meaning, the fundamental code of existence itself. And she saw the truth.
The message was embedded in the engine's core, waiting for anyone who came looking with open minds rather than grasping hands. We are the original cartographers. We built this engine not as power, but as responsibility. We encoded ourselves into the genetic potential of 1,000 species, trusting that if they evolved to find this place, they would have also evolved to wisdom. The engine cannot be destroyed. It is woven into the fabric of this dimension. It cannot be controlled. It responds only to collective consciousness, never individual will. It can only be guarded. If you have found this message, you are ready. The choice is yours. Close the door and resume your separate existences, or accept guardianship and all it entails. Sara looked at her fellow cartographers, seeing her own realization reflected in their faces. They hadn't been chosen randomly. The marks weren't just coordinates, they were tests, spanning generations, selecting for individuals who would seek understanding before domination. "What do you think?" Raj asked quietly. Sara touched the engine. It felt warm, alive, patient. "I think we were never supposed to take it or break it. We're supposed to protect it. From everyone? From anyone who'd use it for one species' benefit over all others." She turned to face the group. "We stay, we guard it. We become what we've always been, cartographers, marking safe passage for everyone." The vote was unanimous. Both alien fleets arrived simultaneously, weapons charged, ready to fight each other and anyone else for the prize. Sara broadcast on all frequencies.
We are the cartographers. We claim the engine by right of discovery and by purpose of design. It will not be used, destroyed, or claimed. It will be protected." The Exarthal commander appeared on screen, its golden eyes wide. "You cannot guard it alone. You are 36 beings with no training, no weapons, no—" "We're not alone," Sara interrupted. "We're calling for volunteers. Any species, any world, any individual who believes some powers should be held in trust rather than wielded. We're building something new, a guardian collective that transcends allegiance to any single empire or planet." "Naive," the Krovan commander snarled, its voice like grinding stone. "You will be slaughtered within days." "Maybe," Sara acknowledged. "Or maybe enough beings in this galaxy are tired of empires deciding everyone's fate. Maybe we're ready for something different." Silence stretched across the void. Then, impossibly, a third ship appeared, different design, unknown origin. Then a fourth, then dozens, hundreds, ships from species Sara had never imagined, all broadcasting the same message. "We volunteer for guardianship." The Exarthal and Krovan fleets held position for another hour, weapons hot, before quietly withdrawing. They'd return, Sara knew. There would be attempts to breach the pocket dimension, political pressure, perhaps even war. But for now, humanity and dozens of other species stood together in a fold between spaces, guarding possibility itself.
6 months later, Sara stood on what passed for a deck of the Guardian Station, a massive structure built cooperatively by 30 different species, each contributing their unique technologies and perspectives. The station existed partially in the pocket dimension and partially in normal space, 1 foot in each reality. Her birthmark still glowed, but she'd learned to control it, to read the star map it contained, not as directions to a destination, but as reminders of connection. Every cartographer carried pieces of the same truth, scattered across the galaxy, linking worlds that had never known each other existed. Raj joined her at the observation port, looking out at the swirling colors of dimensional boundaries. "Did you ever imagine your birthmark would lead to this?" Sara laughed. "I spent 12 years wishing it would disappear. Now it's the most important thing about me." "Not the most important. It's just a map," he smiled. "You're the cartographer who chose to explore rather than conquer." New recruits arrived daily, beings who'd heard the story of humans who'd found ultimate power and chosen guardianship. Not all stayed. Some couldn't handle the isolation, others the philosophical weight. But enough remained, forming something unprecedented, a community bound not by species or homeworld, but by shared purpose. Sara's mother called weekly from Earth, still processing the fact that her daughter had become a guardian of cosmic significance. "You were always special. I told you that birthmark was a blessing." She'd been right, Sara realized, just not in the way either of them had imagined. The engine hummed in its crystal lattice behind them, patient and eternal, waiting for the day that the galaxy evolved enough that guardianship would no longer be necessary, when every species could be trusted with the power to reshape reality. That day was likely millennia away, maybe forever away. But Sara had learned that some purposes weren't meant to be completed, only honored. Some maps didn't lead to destinations, but to journeys that never ended. She touched her glowing shoulder, feeling the warmth of encoded starlight. Somewhere out in the galaxy, 314 other cartographers carried similar marks, living their lives knowing they were part of something vast. Some had joined the Guardian Station, others had returned home, becoming ambassadors, teachers, bridges between Earth and the wider universe. All of them connected by accidental art written in their skin before birth. Sara's communicator chimed, another delegation requesting to visit the engine to understand what so many were willing to protect. She'd meet them, explain the choice, offer them the opportunity to join or simply bear witness. Every day, the same work. Every day, the same choice. Guard the power that could save or doom everything. It should have felt heavy, but Sara had discovered something unexpected. Purpose doesn't weigh you down. It gives you gravity, pulls you toward meaning, keeps you from drifting into the void. She looked out at the stars, not as distant lights, but as neighbors, possibilities, stories she'd never have time to learn, but would spend her life protecting nonetheless. The birthmark that had made her different now made her essential. And for the first time in 28 years, Sara Okonkwo understood exactly where she belonged. Among the maps, among the guardians, among the spaces between what is and what could be. Home.